Welcome to the Baseball Together podcast. This week we're going to talk about the Dodgers retiring a number, baseball therapy, and emoji tears.
9 Plus Us presents the Baseball Together podcast with your hosts Blackjack Brad and Kansas City Little Big Briggy Blue Eyes. And now, Baseball Together.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Baseball Together podcast, Baseball Family. I am one of your co-hosts. My name is Brad, and as per the usual, we got Brig on my left. How are you today, Brig?
I'm so good. How are you?
Good. It looks like you're like in the abyss right now.
This is where I live, homie.
You're almost just like literally a talking head. Like a floating
Thank
head.
you.
If you get like the right position, I noticed that you can't see because your shirt's dark, the dark background. Right. Yeah.
If I do it like this.
Yes. Yeah, the float. The great and powerful Oz.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
Thank you.
All right, let's get into it. We have some news to talk about, some things, and then later we're going to get into our monthly therapy session with baseball therapy, and then we're going to present to you our power rankings that we call emoji tiers because we don't want to rank 1 through 30. Instead, we make it easier and just make tiers with the teams. So let's get started with this, Brig. First things first, the Dodgers have decided to retire number 14 for Gil Hodges. Gil Hodges, he's actually primarily a Brooklyn Dodger, which I thought was really cool that he played so many years in Brooklyn and they're still going to recognize him. I mean, I understand it's all the same franchise, that it was the Brooklyn Dodgers who moved and became the LA Dodgers. It wasn't like the Brooklyn Dodgers were defunct and then in LA they're like, let's just use the Dodgers name. No, same organization, everything. In fact, he did make the move with the team in 1958.
That's right. He boasts a career WAR 43.9, over 7,000 at-bats, almost 2,000 hits, 370 home runs, batting average career 273. Most people don't know some of this. 3-time Gold Glove winner, 2 World Series championships, 8-time All-Star, Hall of Famer, and you'd think he was in the Hall of Fame since the dawn of the Hall of Fame. He was not. However, he was voted in 2022 by the Culture Club, the Veterans Committee.
Interesting. Yeah, and that makes sense why they would just now be getting to retiring his number, because I feel like a guy, if he's a Hall of Famer, it's an automatic, right? You automatically retire the guy's number. Like the Mariners, the only two numbers they have retired are Ken Griffey Jr. and Edgar Martinez, and they're the only 2 Hall of Famers, the only 2 Mariners Hall of Famers. Yeah. So it makes sense. Yeah. Something I thought that was super cool about Gil Hodges is that he went back to New York and played for the Mets in 62 and 63. Yeah. And 1962 was the Mets' first season. So it's like he got to go back. And we have a Fun Fact Friday, Brig, that you did that talked about the origin of the Mets colors. And one of them is a nod to the Dodgers. So it's like he was kind of a part of that to me. Yep. And I think that's super cool. I like that a lot. So good on the Dodgers and good on Gil Hodges for getting into the Hall of Fame.
This is the 11th retired number in the franchise history, by the way.
Nice. Who else do they have? I didn't look.
Pee Wee Reese, Tommy Lasorda, Duke Snyder, Jim Gilliam, Don Sutton, Walter Alston, Sandy Koufax, Roy Campanella, Jackie Robinson, and Don Drysdale.
Nice. And Jackie Robinson is like legit for the Dodgers too.
Correct, sir.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
excellent. All right, let's move on. We have kind of an interesting story coming out of Tampa Bay. So there were 5 Tampa Bay players who chose not to wear their alternate Pride logos on Saturday night when they were doing Pride Night, fitting with it being Pride Month and everything. Pitchers Jason Adam, Jalen Beeks, Brooks Raley, Jeffrey Springs, and Ryan Thompson all decided they were not going to have wear the jersey or wear the alternate rainbow logo, the patch on their sleeve,
or the hat as well.
Or they didn't wear it on the hat either.
They didn't. They swapped it out for a non-Pride flag hat, and then they peeled the logo off of the sleeve of the jersey.
Wow, I didn't see that part in the story. That's pretty intense. So is this Jason Adam who says this? So it's a hard decision because ultimately we all said that we want we all said what we want is them to know that all are welcomed and loved here. He said, this is according to Tampa Bay Times Mark Tompkin. So, and then this is him down here as well, right, Brig?
Yeah. Yeah. He
Okay, says,
again.
but when we put it on our bodies, I think a lot of guys decided it's just a lifestyle that maybe not that they look down on anybody or think differently. It's just that maybe we don't want to encourage it if we believe in Jesus, who's encouraged us to live a lifestyle that would abstain from that behavior, just like Jesus encourages me as a heterosexual male to abstain from sex outside of the confines of marriage. It's no different. Anyway, Kevin Kiermaier said, it's one of those things. My parents taught me to love everyone as they are. Go live your life. Whatever your preferences are, go be you. So I thought that was actually great what Kevin Kiermaier says. That.
Yep. Kevin Kiermaier also said, he said, I can't speak for everyone who's in here, ostensibly referring to the clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
But he says, obviously, this is a family-friendly environment here at a big league ball field, and we just want everyone to feel welcomed and included and cheer us on. Doesn't matter what your views are on anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm like, amen.
Yeah. And my thing, too, is like, I don't understand. It's a patch, dude.
Yeah.
So if the Rays go out and they get a sponsorship from some organization that you don't agree with what they do for whatever reason, are you going to rip the patch off next season?
Right.
Or whenever it is they get the patch for that sponsorship.
That's exactly
like, are you going to take that kind of a stand? And but then that would cost your team money. So they're not going to let you do it. So then are you not going to play? You're going to request a trade. It's a really slippery slope to start with this and showing that amount of disrespect for a group of people. And then like, where does it stop is kind of my thing. And I mean, it's wildly inappropriate. It's a patch, dude. Like, come on.
Yeah. Get over it.
Yeah.
Also, come on, man. Like,
yeah,
come on, man.
Yeah.
This is not, we're not asking you to support like a hate group. It's not.
Yeah.
This is just a group of people who are living a lifestyle that you disagree with. That's all this is. It has nothing to do with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was personally really bothered by this.
I was too. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Yeah, I was like, I don't know. It really rubbed me the wrong way that these guys would go to this length to show such disrespect.
Yeah,
right.
And it's too bad. Like, I don't know anybody's politics. I don't care about politics at all. I never even get into politics. So for me, this is a human issue. This is nothing to do with politics.
Exactly right. That's what I was gonna say. This isn't politics. This is human rights.
This is a human thing. And the humanist in me is like bothered. This doesn't represent me, but I have people in my life that this represents, and I'm bothered.
Friends,
with
family
them.
members,
friends, family, all of the above. Yes.
Yep.
Anyway, we don't want this to get political. What we do want it to be is this is a human interest piece. So anyway,
yeah.
Be humans. Yeah. Let's be good humans to each other together.
Yes, exactly.
Can we please be humans together? Okay. And that includes speaking out however you want. I got it.
Yep. Yes. Let's move on to Josh Donaldson real quick. So, Brig, I think you saw this first. So that he was disappointed the Yankees didn't back him in the Tim Anderson kerfuffle.
Yeah.
Yes. First off, Brig, why do you think the Yankees didn't back Donaldson on this?
Should I reference my previous point?
Let me count the ways.
Yeah, no, it's so what's most interesting about this story is that when it first came out, it was implied, or maybe it's just how I read it, but he was upset that the Yankees as an organization didn't back him, didn't take his side or come to his rescue or whatever he was expecting. And then I further looked into it. Yeah. And then I looked into it further and it sounds like maybe either the story changed or my awareness of it changed, and he was bothered that his buddies on the team didn't back him, not necessarily organizational standpoint, but the other players on the team. And to me, that got even more ridiculous. I was like, come on, dude. Like you're being almost pejorative on purpose. And you're being
Well,
disrespectful.
it's one of those.
Not
It's
even
one of those
almost.
blind. He's looking for blind loyalty, right? Like you
Yeah.
guys are my teammates. You're supposed to back me up no matter what. Like, no, you were
No.
wrong.
Yeah.
You were wrong here. So you need to accept your punishment, because you were wrong. Like
There are
all the way with
consequences.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, bud.
Yeah.
This isn't a benches clearing situation, but I hope that he brought it up in the clubhouse meeting and they all went, come
Called
on.
them out on it. Yeah.
Yeah. I really hope that's what happened.
I would
don't know.
love to be a fly on the wall in that meeting. Oh my goodness.
Wouldn't you? Especially with a guy like Rizzo who has such clubhouse charisma and is capable of changing the dynamic of the clubhouse any way he sees fit, sees necessary. Yeah. I would love to see what that looked like. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. 1000%. All right, let's go a little bit lighter here, Brig. The Angels have officially released their City Connect uniforms. We talked about it last week or 2 weeks ago about how there was a leak. We weren't sure if it was legit. Turned out it was. So here it is. If you're watching on the YouTubes, we've got it right here for you. I like these a whole lot. So for those of you who are not watching on YouTube, it's kind of a cream uniform, top and bottom, which I'm cool with that. Like I've been harping on the gray and the white, but the cream pants is close enough to white that I think it looks good. And then they've got like a retro Angels across the front, and then the hat is red with a white panel in the front. With it's the traditional Angels A with the halo, but the halo is silver instead of gold, and it looks way better.
It's so good.
Really good. I love it so much. And it's the same thing on the jersey, the halo. And then the number is a good touch right there. See the number? It's like a stretched out, it's like a wide diamond, baseball diamond, just the bases with the number inside of it. And I think it looks awesome. And don't forget the candy stripe on the left sleeve, because that looks awesome.
The left sleeve only, sir. And that's
what I'm saying, the left sleeve.
Yeah. The asymmetry of this uniform is what makes it. The whole thing is simple. The whole thing is muted and understated, but there are a couple of flashes of detail, a couple of flares of personality that really drive it home, and it allows the entire uniform to stand together. And it nothing outshines anything else. It's excellent. It's not too much anything.
Yep. I totally agree with you. It's like on Forgetting Sarah Marshall. You know when you know what I'm talking about, when he goes to learn how to surf, and Paul Rudd is a surfing instructor. He's, no, do less. No. You're doing too much. Do less.
Yeah.
Like that's what it is with these City Connect jerseys. Like, no, like with the Rockies. No, you're doing too much. Do less. Do less.
Whoa, way too much. Yeah.
You got to do something. Okay, there you go.
Okay. But that's just be easy. Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what I feel like Nike did with the Angels, and it turned out just fantastic. Just so
well,
good.
And I think at first I was upset not to see too many high pants, but then I was like, but it's Anaheim. So
they don't do that.
No, it was perfect actually. Yeah, even though I'm
not many of the guys
kind of a purist, but it was great.
Yeah, I do.
It totally has a beach bum vibe.
It does. I do prefer the pants up, and I bet it would look really cool because I'm curious what those socks are. If they're straight red, or if they're like candy striped with cream, which might look pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right?
Or red socks with cream colored candy stripe could be pretty cool.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, red with the cream colored candy stripe on it.
Oh yeah.
That could look really nice. Really nice. It would look a lot like what the Cardinals wear on a semi-regular basis.
Very cool.
All right, let's revisit the Rockies real quick. Speaking of City Connect and the Rockies, let's revisit this. Okay, we saw these on the field this weekend, Brig. Did seeing them on the field change your opinion at all?
Yeah.
It did?
I did, actually.
For
I hate them more.
Oh, there.
No, I was expecting to just simply reinforce my opinion, but no, it devolved. It was like,
yeah, they're not good at all. They're not good.
No.
I was actually surprised because I was listening to Dan Patrick this morning, and they were talking about like, oh, they look so good. They look cool. Like it's a cool little nod to the license plate. I'm like, no, it looks bad.
It looks like a license plate.
It's too much.
It's stupid.
And I maintain that it looks like something you would see in old man like beer league softball. That
Fact.
somebody just designed on their lunch break and said, "Send it in. It's awesome." And everybody's like, "Yeah, dude."
It's awesome, dude. Yeah.
So
What was that scene from Django Unchained when the guy's like, "My wife spent all night cutting holes in these bags"?
I haven't seen that movie.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. But he's like, "I don't like it when y'all sitting here disrespecting my wife. She was up all night cutting holes in these bags." Oh man. Oh, you got to see that.
I know it's been on my list forever to watch. And I haven't gotten to it. The list, Brig, is like this long to watch.
You're frozen. I believe you. For the record, I saw Top Gun for the second time this morning.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
That good,
I dropped my kid off at daycare, and I went to the chiropractor, and I scooted on to the movie theater.
Nice. Right
I was like, wham, bam, I need more of that.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
So we have an update on something we talked about last week. We talked about how Dallas Keuchel got DFA'd by the White Sox. Well, he cleared waivers and he signed with a team today.
He did. Yes.
Today he signed with the Arizona Diamondbacks. He signed a minor league deal. I didn't see any details on what they plan to do with that, whether they are going to send him to the Reno Aces or if they're going to bring him up and have him come out of the bullpen, or what they're going to do. Quite honestly, I feel like this is a good move for the Diamondbacks because their bullpen has kind of been a problem, been a problem, right?
Yep.
So if they have him come out of the bullpen, that is a great arm. That's a great arm for them to come in and do 1 or 2 innings of work a couple times a week.
Yeah, a little bit of a longer relief. Yeah.
Yeah, he could be a good addition, even if they have him start, because I know they have somebody who's out, somebody who's injured right now. I'm trying to think of who it is. But it's one of their starters is out, so even if he comes in and fills in for him for a little while, it could.
Not Mad Bum, is it? Is he still out?
No, he pitched yesterday.
Okay. But I'll tell you what, he would be a great like clubhouse presence, veteran influence type. I mean, not that they're a young team by any means, but it's just going to be more maturity in the clubhouse. Can't beat that.
Yeah. Oh, it's Zach Davies. Zach Davies is out right now.
There you go.
Yeah, it was like there's the whole thing about how his wife came out about him leaving her, ghosting her, and everything. And then
I forgot about that.
And then he played horribly. And then he went on the IL.
Mental health is real. Okay.
It is. I mean, that's like a Tiger Woods thing right there. That's what that is.
No doubt.
But
yeah.
So they have that going on right now. But so maybe Keuchel will come in and start right away. I don't know.
He could. He totally could.
So, all right. Last thing, or second to last thing here before we move on. We found out that there was a rule we talked about legitimately 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago, was quietly put into place. Nobody knew except for the umpires, apparently, and Buck Showalter, of course, because that's something Buck Showalter would know about. He gets it in
old Buck.
I bet he gets it in his newsletter every day in his mailbox. Not his inbox, his mailbox.
Yeah. With the flap. He might have his dog bring him the bundle of, elastic wrapped mail.
Yeah. So apparently we found out that you can't have a position player pitch unless Rob Manfred says it's okay. And Rob Manfred says it's okay if there's a 6-run differential in the game.
Yeah.
So like we were talking about this, I was like, oh yeah, and I brought that up. I was like, wasn't that like 2 years ago? And Briggs' confusion and utter disbelief was like, did we? But
which is how every single person except Buck Showalter felt when this happened.
Even Dave Roberts was like, oh yeah, that's a thing.
Even the umpires are like, okay, we checked on it with New York, and like, I guess it's real.
Let me get my manager.
I don't know. Let me call the union.
That's pretty much how it went down.
It's so funny.
But Roberts, after they told him he couldn't put in a position player to pitch in a 5-run game, was like, "Yep, they're right. That's fine." But man, it's so funny. Just the tiny little things that happen. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah,
Because that's baseball, Susan.
There you go. All right, Brad, you said you had some kind of observation you kept secret until now. I'm very excited to hear about
I do have an observation. And Brig, you know what it is? Mustaches.
Oh.
Mustaches are making a resurgence in Major League Baseball. Have you noticed this?
Yes, and I know why.
I know why too.
Why?
What my theory is Nasty Nestor's success. That's what I think it is. Everybody's like, man, Nestor Cortez is lights out, and he's got that killer mustache. So you know who showed up on the mound tonight with a mustache?
Who?
Robbie Ray.
Get out of here.
I will not.
I'm gonna Google it.
He's straight up. He has a killer mustache today, and he gave up 4 runs tonight, but he got some really good run support, so I'm all right with that. It's still pretty good outing for him. But yeah, he came out with the mustache, and I think the power of the stash limited the Astros to 4 runs over 5 innings. So I'm good with it. But Matt Carpenter had debuted a mustache this week or last week, right? And he's hit 5 home runs and 7 at bats?
Yep.
4 at bats, something like that.
It's all of the at bats with as many home runs as possible.
Yes.
that's the statistic officially.
I think the mustache is going to overtake the beard as the facial hair of choice in Major League Baseball. It's not going to be too long before that happens, and it's going to be because of Nestor Cortez.
See, it's funny you say that because I was talking to a friend today about the mustache, and she attributed it entirely to Top Gun.
Oh, okay.
She said that it's a really widespread trend that's going around, and a lot of dudes are trying to pull off just the mustache that they've shaved off their beards.
So who has the mustache? It's not Goose's son, is it?
It is.
It is? Okay.
Yep. And that's all I'll tell you. But they apparently, just Shady Rays released a set of aviators. They call them the Navigators. I bought a pair, and they're great. And everybody's wearing aviators and sporting a mustache, a pair of mustaches, as they say.
Oh, is it a pair of mustaches?
It's a pair of mustaches.
I see. I like to call it a mustachio.
A mustachio. I think you might need to have a curl at the end for that to be the case.
Well, I do. When I call that is how I refer to my mustachio. When I curl it like that.
Yep.
When I handlebar it, it's a mustachio. But that was actually something else they were talking about on Dan Patrick this morning. They're like, are bomber jackets going to come back?
For sure they will.
Because the aviators sure are.
Yep. I think it's all related.
I think you're right. I think you're more right than I think part of it has to do with Nestor Cortez. And I think the Giants did Mustache May, from what I remember reading even today.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But it's the same with the mullets and the faux hawk from like a couple of years ago. Everybody had a faux hawk, and now everybody has a mullet. Everybody. And it's all across Major League Baseball.
Yeah. Well, I think Chris Bryant was one of the first ones to have a mullet. He had one a few years ago, right?
Yeah, and Chuck Nasty, for sure.
Oh, yeah. And his is just that. Just nasty.
That's exactly what it is. I'm getting one. I've decided.
Oh. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. I would have to sport the skullet if I was going to go with a mullet.
The skullet is quintessential in some countries.
I guess so. But hey, let's take a quick break. When we get back, I'm going to jump on the couch for this month's edition of Baseball Therapy.
No matter which ballpark you're at, you want to rep your team. Now you can with 9+ Us. Welcome to the Big City Series. With every design available in your team's colors, you can fit in with the home crowd or stand out on the road. Either way, we have the colors you crave. Shop the Big City Series and find designs that rep your favorite baseball podcast, cheer from the cheap seats, and much more. Shop the Big City Series only at 9plusus.com.
Welcome back, baseball family. We're excited to bring you this episode of Baseball Therapy. Brad has come to the office today, and he's going to be on the couch. Brad, what are your concerns this month? What brings you here today?
My concerns, Brig. Can I call you Doc?
Sure.
My concerns, Doc, are with umpires. And one of my big concerns is, let's look at this real quick from yesterday before we get too deep into this. Okay, this was the Mariners against the Rangers. The Mariners ended up winning this game 6-5 in extra innings. However, if you look at this, the way that the umpire called the game, it gave the Rangers 2.5 runs. That's a lot. That is a lot of runs. And if you look at the second pitch, number 2, that's outside for a right-handed batter, in particular one named Julio Rodriguez. He got up in the top of the third inning with the bases loaded, and that was the called strike 3. He went down. He didn't even swing at any pitch in that at bat because they were all of that nature off the plate, and especially that third strike was. And they say if it's borderline, you got to swing, but at the same time, if it's not a strike, you don't want to help out the pitcher, right?
Of course.
So it's kind of like, where do you draw the line, But a guy like Julio Rodriguez, he goes down looking a lot because he keeps getting these horrendous strike calls.
Yeah, this is a concern we've brought up before.
Yes. And my big thing, Brig, is that nothing in sports makes me want to turn off a game more than bad officiating. Nothing at all. So I'm a little worried that I might be headed down a road where I can't watch baseball anymore if the officiating continues to get this much worse. Do you have any suggestions about what I can do?
Well, I have a couple of questions first.
Okay.
Your team won.
Right. Yes.
And
this time.
Yeah. And this has been a problem with their success in the past.
Yes.
Is that not true?
That is very true. I mean, like I said, particularly Julio Rodriguez, the beginning of the season, the first month, he was called out more on strikes than anybody in the league, and more than half of those were outside of the zone.
I'm sensing some frustration. I mean, you've made that clear, but I don't think you've really explored how frustrated you are by this. I think you're holding it in. Why are you holding yourself back so much?
Maybe because I love to watch baseball so much. Like I said, it makes me want to turn the game off.
Yeah.
Right?
What keeps you from turning it off then?
Maybe an addiction.
That's an interesting word to throw around. Let's keep that as an option, but I don't know if we need to go there just quite yet.
Okay.
Do you? How does it make you feel when you hear the word addiction come out of your mouth?
It's when it comes to baseball, I feel pretty okay with it because I know it could be worse, right?
Well, I mean, what's worse? What does worse look like?
As far as being addicted to anything?
Sure.
Or baseball?
Well, it's up to you. What do you think? Where did your mind go when you said it could be worse?
I could have a gambling problem.
Yes, you could.
I don't, but Brig, I'm not betting on spring training baseball games.
Not yet. No. But you promised that you would bring it to my attention if you ever did.
I would let you know the day that I place a bet on a spring training baseball game.
That's outstanding. Okay, so you may have what you're terming a harmless, is that fair to say? Harmless addiction?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to describe it.
Okay, so you have a harmless addiction to the sport. Is it disrupting your daily life in any way?
I don't think so.
That's good. So in general.
I feel like, we turn it on when the kids are home. We're all hanging out at night before bed, things like that. Mm-hmm. It doesn't take me away from anybody or anything. I can turn it on while I'm working and continue to work.
How easily can you turn it off? But when the need arises?
If I need to turn it off, I can.
And does it linger in your mind when you need to turn it off, or does it
Only
is
the
it
Mariners
done?
games. Only Mariners games.
Mariners games, which are problematic due to the officiating.
Yes, and also injuries.
Right. Which one
But
grinds your gears a little bit more? Injuries or bad
definitely the
officiating?
officiating. Definitely the bad officiating.
So when was the last time you turned off a game before its conclusion because of bad officiating?
3 weeks ago.
Okay, tell me how that went. After you turned it off, what happened?
I was in a bad mood the rest of the night.
Oh,
All night long, I was in a bad mood.
okay. So
Because
go ahead?
just because the officiating was so bad. I mean, we've seen it all season, Brig, that there are calls. They're not. I would say one can't even say consistently off the plate because one pitch is literally a ball. The next pitch, exact same pitch, exact same location is a strike.
Yeah.
And the thing that's frustrating is that Major League Baseball doesn't seem to care too much because it hurts the game, hurts the product, it hurts the growth of the game. Because like I've almost given up watching the NBA because officiating is so bad.
Yeah.
I have a hard time watching the NFL because officiating is inconsistent and bad.
Yeah.
And
they keep changing the rules.
Yeah, and they keep changing the rules. So how can the officials keep it straight? But
Right.
I don't want that to become baseball, that I can't watch baseball because the officiating is so bad. And that's why I'm so like avidly pushing for robot umpires.
Let me take this a different direction. How do you
Okay.
feel when you listen to radio baseball?
That's a great point because I can't see the strike zone. It's much more relaxing listening because I have to take the broadcaster's word for it, right?
Indeed.
If they say that was a little off the plate, I have to take because they could say a little off the plate and it could be 3 feet away. I don't know. They could be pulling the Bob Uecker, right? Just a bit outside.
That's right. Absolutely, they could. Yeah.
When it's at the backstop.
Mm-hmm. So maybe there's another way to engage with these games that doesn't disrupt your life and still keeps you, emotionally balanced.
I think you're right, Frick. I hadn't even thought of that. That might be the solution.
You can feed your harmless addiction. I'm just asserting this is harmless. You take it or leave it. But when I propose that you spend more time listening to baseball games versus watching baseball games, and how it affects you. I mean, how does that make you feel? The idea of listening more than watching?
I do like listening to games. That's typically what I do during the day when I have to work anyway. Is I turn it on so the video, so the visual is not a distraction, right?
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Yeah, so I'm not opposed to it. I do like radio broadcasts. In fact, teaser, everyone, baseball family, we're going to be rating radio broadcasts here coming up in several weeks or months because we want to go through and listen to all of them.
Yeah. So I think, how do you feel now?
I like that. That actually makes me feel a lot better because I was like legitimately like worked up about it.
Yeah. No, it's easy to get worked up about
for
it.
For reals, that's not me playing a character or anything. I was legitimately worked up about it coming into this thing. But it makes me feel a lot better. I think that's a good solution, Brig. Listen to more games, watch less.
Well, or maybe when you feel the tides turning that way, you can turn off the visual and turn on the radio. Maybe split it both ways. It doesn't have to be all or nothing, black and white, said the pot to the kettle.
Yeah, right.
It could be gentle with ourselves, and it could be in the middle.
I think you're right on there. I think that's a great way to go. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Outstanding solution to pretty severe problem, Brig. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I have to tell you. Okay, I want to tell you this, and we'll wrap up. So, when I'm gonna lean back forward for this. So, I'm a huge Trailblazers fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it would have been the 2009, maybe the 2010 NBA playoffs. The Blazers were playing against the Rockets, and something happened that was just like so absurd. And it was officiating. An official made what I thought was a really, really bad call. And my frustration to that point had been so pent up that I stood up. I wanted to smash the coffee table in front of me, but I knew that was not an option because my wife was sitting there. I would have gotten in big trouble. So we're in Eastern Idaho.
Very wise.
In May, Eastern Idaho in March, right? March or April. I don't know. Either way, it's cold outside. It's like 5 degrees outside at night. And Brig, I was so mad. The only thing I could think to do was pull my shirt off over my head, throw it across the room, and walk outside. I took a lap around our townhouse. She's just sitting on the couch. I came back. She's like, "You okay?" I am now.
So what I'm hearing you say is that you have experience managing difficult emotions and that you have experience dealing with them in acceptable or appropriate ways. And I think that's experience you need to remind yourself of and build on when you get into these situations again. And now you have another tool.
You're right.
Let's check back in a month and see how it goes. Yeah, you're welcome.
Sounds good. We'll be back with the emoji tears.
The Not Another Sports Podcast is the home of sports talk for everyone. Every other week, you can catch David and Jason as they talk about all things sports, from current events to classic moments and everything in between. You can find the Not Another Sports Podcast on Anchor.fm, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, and more. Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review.
Welcome back, baseball family, to the Baseball Together podcast. Today we're going to talk about we call them emoji tiers. They're essentially power rankings. For those of you who like to go through and read power rankings on other websites, things like that, we have them here. We do tiers because it's hard to go like 8 through 12, right? Like it's really fluid, like through some of those areas. So I like to just bunch them together. And we call them emoji tiers because they're organized by emojis. To review, we have the top tier is our diamond, and then next after that we have our heart because those are teams we love, and then our middle tier is a question mark. Those are teams we're not too sure about, and then we have our thumbs down tier, and then the bottom tier is the poop emoji, is the poop tier because those teams are poop. Okay, all right, Brig. Let's have you. Did you lead off last month or did I? I don't know. Let's have you lead off this month. Whatever happened last month. Go ahead and go first.
Okay. Where do you want me to start?
Let's start at the top. So let's go with your diamond.
All right. My diamond, I've got the Yankees, Mets, and Dodgers.
Okay. And there's something to think about with these that is, I feel like is crucial, is that if you're watching on YouTube, Brig has the Dodgers at the top. There is no particular order in these tiers. They are just bunched together in a group. Kind of like an electron field, if you will. Anyway.
I love that voice. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, I've got the Yankees, the Mets, and the Dodgers. I'm surprised by the Dodgers. They were swept by the Pirates, which makes literally no sense to me. And yet they remain in the diamond field. So if these were ranked, the Dodgers would not be able to be number one just for that reason. But since they're not, it's fine. But they're that good. They got swept by the Pirates in Chavez Ravine, and they remain in the diamond category. Okay. How about you? Where's your diamond at?
I can respect that and I can understand it. However, given the events of the last few weeks and really throughout May, I'm replacing the Dodgers with the Astros in mind. I've got the Mets and the Yankees as well. Mm-hmm. The Astros are who we thought they were. They've come back to be the team we thought they were going to be. For some reason, they had that really bad slow start, but at the same time, here they come. And Brig, they're up there. They're like top 4 or 5 in Major League Baseball with their record. They're going to run away with the AL West, just like we thought they were going to. Yeah, it just took them a little bit to get started, and now they're never going to look back. That's just the way it's going to be because they're that good. I do feel like they're a top 3 team. The Dodgers, to me, are a little bit too up and down to be considered a top 3 team right now. Like when it comes time for the playoffs, you still don't want to see them, right? Nobody wants to play them.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, Houston has 35 wins going into Monday night.
Right.
So that's pretty darn good to me. They're actually a game. No, they have the same record as the Dodgers going into Monday night.
Yeah, they do.
So
They have the same record. Yeah. And I mean, the Yankees got off to a rough start as well. But an interesting thing about the Yankees is that in the franchise history, when they've started with a record this good, they've won the World Series. So that's pretty interesting.
well, I heard today that they're on pace to finish, I want to say like just behind the 0-1 Mariners for best record. Like they're on pace to finish pretty close to 116 wins, which is a pretty big deal. So
it's a huge deal.
All right, Brig, give us your heart emoji tier.
So this is where the Astros fall for me, and they're solid number 4, even though we're not ranking them. I'm also going to include the Cardinals, the Blue Jays, Brewers, Padres, Tampa Bay Rays, Twins, and Giants. A couple of justifications here. The Cardinals, if you combine Paul Goldschmidt, Tommy Edman, and Nolan Arenado, those are 3 players of the entire National League's top 5 leaders in WAR, and they're all on the same team.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So even though their record might not reflect them putting them as high as I have, because they would be in that top 5, maybe top 8 at the lowest for me right now. That's part of why. I can't believe Tampa Bay's pitching is continuing to come to the rescue despite some of the injuries and stuff that they've had. I wrote down pitching coming into the rescue while the depth chart pumps water out of the bilge. It's like, because that's how I feel about it. And then the Giants, I really want to see how they handle the Dodgers in this upcoming series before I'll know whether they really belong in the heart or if they're going to drop down into the next tier for me. But I've got them at the bottom of my heart emoji tier for right now. That's the San Francisco. But I got to see how they handle LA.
Yep, I agree with you on that, because I have the Brewers, Padres, Twins, Cardinals, Rays, Blue Jays, Giants, and swap out the Astros for the Dodgers.
Dang.
Like I said, the Dodgers are still a really good team. They belong.
Yeah.
If you're gonna put somebody at the top of this tier, it's gonna be the Dodgers. They're the best.
Yeah.
They're the best team in the group. I just need to see more consistency out of them. You cannot get swept by the Pirates. I'm sorry.
Nope. No,
it's not what great teams do, especially at home. That was bad.
Man,
so bad.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Cardinals.
It's a special kind of bad.
It really is. And I agree with you on the Cardinals. Like you gave us the numbers on the WAR, but I feel like the Cardinals are a better team than what their record shows. They have a good run differential. They're plus 54. They've got the talent, certainly, like you demonstrated. And who was it? There was somebody. Oh, the Rays. The Rays, my big thing with them is they're only a plus 11 run differential. And we saw last year run differential doesn't mean a whole lot because the Mariners missed the playoffs literally by like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And they had a negative run differential.
Yeah, exactly.
So what matters, Brig, is fun differential. That's what we learned from that.
Fun differential. That's exactly right. Well said, sir. Well said.
But I think the Brewers are the cream of the NL Central, which automatically puts them in this tier. They're a really good team. Craig Counsell does such a great job with them.
Quietly, and that's what's fun about the NL Central is you've got the Cardinals and the Brewers, and they just do their thing, and they're really good at it, and they always are problematic for other people. It's great.
Yep, exactly right.
That'll be a great division race to watch.
Yes, it will. Getting down in September, late August, into September is going to be a lot of fun to watch. Okay, Brig, let's get into your question mark tier. How's that?
Okay, yeah, I've got the Angels because who are they? They've lost 11 in a row. What in the heck is going on in Anaheim? I have no idea. But in that same question mark group, I've got the Braves with their weird strikeout problems, the Phillies who fired their skipper in the middle of the season.
And then won D-backs, 3 in a row?
Yeah, exactly. And they're like the new existing manager, whatever the interim manager is like, we've got some young talent. We really need to get these guys some reps. And bam, it's working. So that's super exciting. The D-backs are a thorn. I've also got the White Sox, the Marlins, Rangers, and Mariners. I did not expect the Rangers to be in this category.
No, I agree with you. Yeah, the Rangers are kind of strange, but what's the other? Sorry. What's one of the other teams in here you did not expect to see in the question mark?
I thought the Mariners would be doing better by now.
I did too. In fact, let's go over to mine real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the Angels because, like you said, who knows what they are because they got off to that really hot start and they lost 11 in a row now. And it's like you could do this all over again throughout the season and finish at 500. They're one game under 500 right now. They could finish at 500 and miss the playoffs despite everything. So the Angels, who knows what you're going to get from them? They could be really bad. I don't know. But then I've also got the Red Sox, the Phillies. The Phillies for all the aforementioned reasons, for sure. Braves, the Guardians, the Cubs, the Diamondbacks, and the Mariners. So the other day, if you'd asked me last week where I had the Mariners, I would have had them down in the thumbs down.
Yeah.
Thumbs down tier because they were playing really, really bad throughout May. But then you go and like the way that they ended May and the way they're playing right now, they've won 3 series in a row. They've got the Astros at this very moment. They're up 5-4 in the top of the 9th. Sergio Romo got out of that jam break that I was telling you about.
Nice. So, that's awesome.
For once, he got out of it. The D-backs
without giving up free bombs or whatever.
Yeah, seriously, without giving up a bomb. The D-backs are going to continue to be a thorn in people's side. I don't know that they're necessarily going to contend. They might finish around 500 and be a spoiler at some point. Sure. The one for me, though, that's really surprising is the Cubs. The Cubs are not great. I dare say not good, but they have so much talent. They have so much young talent they brought up into this season that as those guys get more experience, they could really be a problem in the second half. I don't know if they'll make a run. I don't know if they'll make a run at the wild card, but they're gonna ruin some team seasons by beating them. I think in the second half, they're gonna be a lot of fun to watch.
Interesting.
The other one is the Red Sox. The Red Sox got off to a brutal start, absolutely terrible, and then the Mariners came to town, and ever since then they've been super hot. So,
yeah, but they're 15 games back.
Well, that's in the AL East, though. That's to the Yankees who have the best record in baseball. That's all relative.
I know it is.
They're sitting at 500 right now.
I know. I still don't see it. Part of it's my bias. Go to my thumbs down because that's where I put the Red Sox.
Yeah, you're right.
So
it could
my
very
thumbs
well
down.
Be bias.
it's bias. I think everybody knows that's going to happen a little bit. I try to keep it cool, but it's going to happen a little bit. Here's my issue with the Red Sox right now is Bobby Dahlbeck. I need more points in my fantasy team. I got stuck with Bobby Dahlbeck. The dude is not performing for me, and therefore he ends up in the thumbs down category. He also takes everybody else with him. Sorry. So that's why I picked the Red Sox in the thumbs down. Cleveland's baseball team, Cleveland's unnamed baseball team is here in the thumbs down category. I also put the Cubs here with the Pirates, the Orioles, Rockies, Tigers, and Nationals. Now, the Tigers, the only reason they're this high is because of Miggy. Everything else is not going very well. They did beat the Yankees a couple of times, and that is a big deal, so they get some points there. But then the Nationals, the reason the Nationals are this high as well is because I have to have 3 other teams in the lower category, A. And B, I think that what happened is when they finally came out and said, we are not going to trade Soto, he loosened up a lot and has been doing much better. And I think that is going to ripple a little bit, not enough to make them a good ball club, but a little bit through between here and the break. I don't know what'll happen then. Of course, maybe they will trade him and they just wanted to take the pressure off. Who knows? But
you got to restore that trade value, which I don't think any of his struggles would have hurt it, but still at the same time, you got to be able to see that a guy could still play well. So
right. So this could have been a strategic move to take the pressure off. I think there's a chance of that. That's all I'm saying.
Could be. You could be right. All right, my thumbs down. I've got the Reds, the A's, the Rangers, Marlins, Orioles, Tigers, White Sox, and Pirates. Now, I said last week that, was it on Thursday night when we were talking on our live, Brig, or was it Monday? Either way, last week I said that I think that the Rays are going to pull out of that terrible start. Don't get me wrong. They've already lost the division. They lost too many games. They've lost the division. But they're heating up. The Reds.
Oh, the Reds. Yeah, they beat the crap out of who did they play tonight? Arizona. They played.
Yeah, they beat them 7-0. It was only 7 innings because it was a weather shortened game. But still, they shut them out. They put up 7 runs on them. And they've been doing that more lately.
Yeah, I agree.
They're winning games. They've been winning series. And I think if they continue to just stay consistent, win every 2 out of every 3, win a series, win 3 series in a row, 4 series in a row, something like that, like they'll be in the conversation as being like, you know what, they have something to build on next year.
Yeah, I agree.
That they could really gain some momentum and have some positive change and put things in a positive direction for next year. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I said, this year it's done. It's over. They lost too many games, but I think they can build a strong foundation and things can go really well for them the rest of this year. They can play really strong spoilers and be a problem for contenders into August and September, probably even. This is where I put the Rangers. I watched the Rangers this weekend, and they just don't look good. I'm sorry. The Mariners blew a game against them on Saturday, and the Rangers are not a good team. Like, Marcus Semien is underachieving. Corey Seager looks like he just doesn't care, and the pitching is terrible. So,
except for what? Martin Perez? He's pitching out of his mind.
Right, yeah, Perez. Yeah, Perez had the best ERA in the league going into Sunday's game. But other than that, like, and I even I was watching the game with my uncle and my cousins, and I told them, I was like, we just got to get into the bullpen and things will be fine. Yeah, and they did. The Mariners got into the bullpen and things were fine. They ended up winning the game. But no, the Rangers are a mess right now. And like I said, Corey Seager just doesn't even look like he wants to be there. He looks like he made a mistake. He's not engaged. He's still hitting, but he looks like Anthony Rizzo did last year, right? Still playing well.
Yes.
But he's just like, ugh, it sucks. Sucks to lose. So
makes you wonder if his brother will come back just to buoy him up because they'll take anybody at this point.
I don't think he will. The Rangers reached out to him at the before the season started. To see if he'd come back, and basically told him he'd rather fold laundry than play for them. So
I know, but what I'm saying is, if you were him and you saw your brother hurting so bad, would you go in and pick it up? At least be there, because at this point they're playing sandlot baseball, right? So it's like, oh, let's go make some money and get one last hurrah and play with my brother.
There are a couple things with that. First, I feel like Kyle Seager has an injury. I think he has an elbow injury, and I think that's part of the reason he retired, because he missed a few games last year with his elbow issues, and I think that might be one of the reasons he retired instead of trying to find another team. And second, he lost so much in Seattle. There's no way he wants to go to Texas and keep losing, because baseball sucks when you're losing.
Yeah,
it's a miserable experience. So I don't think he'd want to come out of retirement. Not for that. Maybe if they were winning, like if they showed that they were capable of winning and winning a lot and contending and making the wild card, maybe. But at this point, no, he's not going to go play for that team. No matter how well he hits when he's there.
Yeah, you're right.
So, all right, let's go to the poop tier. Who you got, Brig?
This is where I put the Reds and the Athletics and the Royals. And it's really sad. The best part about the Royals being in the poop column is that Andrew Benintendi could move somewhere else.
Oh, they could move him. You're right. I hadn't thought about that.
I don't think they'll move Bobby Witt Jr.
No. He's their future.
Yeah, but I think I can see them moving Benintendi to a contender, cashing in some trade chips or, player to be named later or something like that, and just making it just another building block. But then another team who's a contender could really swoop in and pick up a terrific outfielder, and it could be great. I just think playing for a bad team, he's not having any fun either, just like you said with the Rangers. So I think this is good for Benintendi's future, potentially, and that's about the only silver lining coming out of Kansas City right now. Yeah,
I think you're right. I think you are right, because I too have the Royals in my poop tier, but I also have the Rockies and I have the Nats. Like you said, because you said the Nats for you were like borderline, right?
Right. I would put, if I could have 4 teams here, I would put them there.
Yeah. And the Rockies, for me, like, it's not just the City Connect. It's that they aren't winning. Like, they're bad, right?
No.
Like,
Yeah.
against the Marlins last week, they gave up 27 runs in one day over 2 games in a doubleheader. Yes, they did win the second game, but at the same time, they gave up 27 runs in a
That's
12-hour
insane.
period. That's a
That's just
lot.
wrong.
That's
That's
so bad.
That's almost as bad as London.
Yeah, that is almost as bad as London.
Jeez.
But is one team
That's
doing
insane.
it, man?
I know.
So I've got the Royals, Rockies, and Nats down in my poop tier.
Well, and is Chris Bryant even like suiting up anymore?
I think he's still on the IL.
I think so too.
That he's not playing yet, so that's a problem.
Yeah.
It will continue to be a problem, and I don't know that his bat or his clubhouse presence will necessarily do anything to pull him out of it either.
No, I don't think his clubhouse presence is worth its weight in stinky socks, honestly.
Yeah, I think you're right. But yeah, they're 23
Sorry.
and 31 going into Monday, which is better than, like I said, better than the Reds, better than the A's, better than the Royals, but
Better than the Royals, yeah.
They're so bad. I feel like part of the reason they have so many wins is because they did go on a little bit of a streak last month, but at the same time, like, they're not playing good baseball. They're a minus 63 run differential, Brig.
Yeah, and they're like 75 games back or something.
Yeah, they're already eliminated from the division. They're 12 games
mathematically eliminated.
Yeah. Okay, before we get out of here, though, Brig, we forgot to do the weekly fantasy baseball update.
Ooh, got to do it.
So let's do that, and then we'll get – what's that?
Yeah, do it. Send it.
Okay. All right, so we're going to do that, and then we'll get out of here. Okay, so this is the Week 8 matchup. Let's start from the bottom this week. Let's start with the Harrisburg Charlies. That's John Mullins, and not another fantasy team. That's Jason. Jason won that one 540 to 384. Holy moly.
Dude,
100 triple digits from Pete Alonso last week. He hit 4 home runs over the week. Drove in 8 runs. Then John's top performer was Rhys Hoskins at 70. Now, to give you some perspective on why Jason won by so much, Rhys Hoskins had 70 points. Like I said, that was John's top performer. And then Jason had Ryan Mountcastle next in line with 81 points. And then after that, Tommy Edman had 68.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he pretty
He's
much
top
could have
5 WAR leader in the National League, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
He'd have beat anybody that week.
Jason was the high scorer last week. He would have beat everybody by a lot because nobody else broke 500. And then we've got Grace Under Fire. That's Denise. And Springfield Nuclear. That's Tori. Denise won that one 497 to 323. Holy moly, she rocked him. Her high score was Wilson Contreras with 88 points. And then she had Rowdy Tellez with 72. Tori had Paul Goldschmidt with a whopping 97, but then it dropped way off a cliff to Trey Turner with just 42 points. So very top heavy there for Tori, but Denise was more consistent and won that one. And then we have Brig or Mortis, Brig, against the Springfield Isotopes at Zip. Brig won that one 415 to 375. Brig, your high score was Josh Bell with 80 points.
Yeah. No, that's his high score.
Oh, sorry. I'm looking at the wrong side. That was Zip's high score with 80 points. And you had Jake Cronenworth with 67.
Yep.
So Zip had a high score, but you were more consistent along the board.
Bro, it is ramshackle at this point. Like, I am scraping to get – anytime somebody gets dropped on waivers, I'm picking them up. Anytime I can hustle for a trade or bench somebody strategically, I am making all kinds of moves every weekend now. And I knew I was going to catch Zip, but I thought it'd be a little closer than it was. I did
too. Well, so here's a little bit of insight to that, Brick. So his next guy was Jordan Alvarez with 58 points, and then, but you had, I want to clip Luis Arias had 58 points, and then you had 3 more guys above that with Ty France, Yuli Gurriel, and then Cronenworth. So that's really where it came in, where you got him with those top.
My
2 guys.
pitching sucks.
Does it? I have to look and see who you have real quick.
No, it's bad. I made one. Hopefully, I pick up my guy off waivers this week because I made a change that I need real bad. Because I'm starting Zach Galen right now.
Yeah, I saw that. He scored 12 points for you last week. But,
yeah, well, I need 24 points out of starting pitching.
Yeah. And then in mine, I ended my losing streak. I beat Jewel.
Nice.
I'm the Manitoba Man Clowns. He is the big league Chupacabra. I won 445 to 359. He had me early in the week, but I came back and I beat him. Very happy about that. My top scorer, Brig, are you ready?
Yeah.
Matt Olson scored 106 points for me.
Whoa.
One-man wrecking crew. 9
That's
for 31.
He's got to be in the 600 total points this season already. Though.
I'm sure he is. He's killing it. 2 home runs, 11 RBIs last week. His top scorer was Jose Abreu with 60 points, and then Jose Ramirez with 52. So to get to his high score, I had to go down three guys. Whoa. Ozzy Albies had 66, and Tyler Stevenson with the Reds, who is getting to be one of my favorite catchers in the league right now. I'm going to be honest with you, Brig. That dude's so good. So good.
And on a crappy team, 61. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I think they're going to be okay, is because they have such a good catcher calling games for them. He is a solid player all around. And then Trevor Story figured out how to play baseball again. He got 39 points from
He did. Yeah, he did.
I was very happy about that. He was on my bench for a long, long time. But so there's our weekly fantasy baseball update. If you want to ask us any questions about fantasy baseball, contribute your thoughts and whatever you think about the emoji tiers. Think if we got it right or we got it wrong. Or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns or snide remarks for us, you can always jump in the mailbag on Baseball Together, or jump down in the link in the description of every single episode, audio and on YouTube as well. There's a link that will get you to the mailbag, so you can submit those there for us. You can also click the link and jump on the shop. Take it away, Brig.
You can jump on the shop at 9plusus.com or click in the link in the doobly-doo in the description or wherever you're listening. We have Brad's wearing his Pirate baseball hat, and I think I saw your Legends t-shirt on. I've got my Baseball Together official podcast t-shirt on tonight and my Baseball Things hat as a nod to a very popular Netflix-originated franchise. We have a whole pop culture series that's been pretty fun. The other thing we wanted to let you know is that you can support us in another way with Patreon. You can jump on. We've got 3 different tiers, and we added some new cool stuff to the Hall of Fame tier. That's our $15 a month tier. If you want to support the podcast, help us keep doing what we're doing, but also launch into some new projects and new ideas that we have coming up. We would love and appreciate that so much. Thank you for listening and all the support you already give.
That's right. And baseball family, thank you again for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week.